With 400 people running for president from the Republican Party, is there a chance that that party can in any way embrace this?
I don't think,
given the competition that's been going on.
I think it's doubtful that we get a lot of current Republican elected officials supporting this deal. I think there's a certain party line that has to be towed within their primaries and among many sitting members of Congress, but that's not across the board. It'll be interesting to see what somebody like a Rand Paul has to say about this. But I think that if I were succeeded by a Republican president, and I'll be doing everything I can to prevent that from happening, but if I were, that Republican president will be in a much stronger position than I was when I came into office in terms of constraining Iran's nuclear program. He will be in a position to know that 98% of their nuclear material has been shipped out. He would know that the majority of the centrifuges have been removed. He would know that there's no heavy reactor there. He'd know that the international community had signed on to this. He'd know everything that we've learned from the inspection regime. And he'd still be in possession of the entire arsenal of our armed forces and our diplomatic and intelligence services to deal with the possibility that Iran was cheating. So I think he'd be in a stronger position. They're not going to admit that now. Part of our goal here has been to show that diplomacy can work. It doesn't work perfectly. It doesn't give us everything that we want. This is a complicated world. We don't dictate whatever happens. We are the most powerful nation on earth, but we can't control every single event. But what we can do is to shape events in ways where it's more likely that problems get solved rather than less likely. And that's the opportunity we have now. The critics will always say, you don't understand the nature of these folks.
You don't understand evil. Obama doesn't get evil.
All this stuff. I had a lot of differences with Ronald Reagan, but where I completely admire him was his recognition that if you were able to verify agreements, that you would negotiate with the evil empire that was hell-bent on our destruction and was a far greater existential threat to us than Iran will ever be. And I had a lot of disagreements with Richard Nixon, but he understood there was the prospect, the possibility that China could take a different path. You test these things, and as long as we are preserving our security capacity, as long as we are not giving away our ability to respond forcefully, militarily, where necessary to protect our friends and our allies, that's a risk we have to take. It is a practical, common sense position. It's not naive, it's a recognition that if we can in fact resolve some of these differences without resort to force, that's going to be a lot better off for us and for the people of the region.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate this time.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks so much.
Good.